At the John Daly Major Ed Foundation, we also focus on making sure that we partner up with great organizations. Great organizations like St. Jude's, great organizations like the Boys and Girls Club, our friends at Warriors for Freedom, our friends at Force 50 Foundation, which provides veterans the health care that they need. As you can see, we are the safety net at the John Daly Major Ed Foundation to make sure that no one gets left behind on the field of battle and that you're taken care of in the home front. God bless you. God bless the United States of America. Hoorah!
Power.
Stability.
Comfort.
The all-new 2024 Squares. The patented toe box helps give you more balance, stability and energy transfer, giving you better performance. And these great-looking new Squares are lighter and more comfortable. To find out more, go to squares.com now.
Best golf shoes I've worn.
Baseball? Nah. Football? Done it. I think I'm going to go after the PGA Tour.
Bo, you're going to need the right equipment company.
I think I got that.
Tour Edge backs all their clubs with a lifetime warranty.
I know.
They ship all their premium clubs within 48 hours.
I know.
All their premium clubs are hand-built in the USA.
I know.
You know Tour Edge has won 35 times out here.
Guys, I know.
Pound for pound, nothing comes close.
Welcome back, and this segment is sponsored by Tour Edge Golf. Golf's most solid investment. Check out the new 524 series because pound for pound,
nothing comes close.
That's right. Nothing comes close. All right, let's talk a little bit of Masters and Greg Wise. Tiger Woods in the news again, but this from his longtime friend and a good friend of this show, Nota Begay. He says all indications are that Tiger Woods is going to play in the Masters next week. What is good news for golf fans comes with one major question that has become the theme of Woods' pro golf twilight. How will the 15-time major champion's body hold up? Well, his longtime friend and former Stanford teammate Nota Begay says everyone will find out at the same time. That includes me. He's trying to formulate a strategy and approach that he can work with, and given the constraints that he's presented with, and he's got some constraints. Begay, now a commentator for NBC Sports, said on a conference call Wednesday he's got zero mobility in that left ankle and really has low back challenges now, which he knew he was going to have. So, what are we going to expect from one Tiger Woods, Mr. Wisest man in golf?
Well, I can tell you CBS's challenge just got a whole lot easier for following players because they'll show every one of his shots. Yep. Wherever he's at. I mean, if he takes a drink of water, I'm sure CBS will be covering it.
Yeah.
This is true. And hence, that's why a lot of people were always upset, that it was the Tiger Show. And I know I see you wearing a Live hat, and on the Live tour, we were talking about it earlier that I've been watching the different tours and stuff like that. And it's like watching two different shows and stuff like that. But when you're watching Live, you don't just see the contender, the non-contender, the John Rahm, the Dustin Johnson. You get to see. I've been, because I've been watching it. I'm watching guys I don't even know who they are. I had to look them up because I didn't even know their name, and I was like, "Who's that guy?" Like when he was in the trees on his knees and trying to do all kinds. It's like, who is that guy? So I had to go look him up to make sure he was part of it.
I like the little segments called Live Back, and he lived back a shot that would happen earlier on or something like that with it. I mean, it could be a no name, and it was just a good shot.
Yeah.
A no name doesn't exist on Live. They've got the top names in the world.
Well, they got some guys that we just don't know. They really do. I mean, they do have the job. We know John Rahm. We know Kepka.
They've come from the other side of the world and are good enough to play with these guys.
Exactly. We just don't. I don't know. I'm being honest. I really don't know. There was and he was an older guy. I just didn't know who he was, and I was trying to figure out why is he taking so long to hit his ball. They literally had him on there for like 10 minutes while he was clearing this. He was doing this. I was like, I would have just gone back and hit the ball. I mean, I didn't get it. But ultimately he did hit it out. He saved himself an alleged stroke. He didn't finish the hole well, but he did what he wanted to do. And I didn't know who he was. So it's kind of cool to just see different people. They're jumping around. You get to see a little bit of everybody. And that's why Bill,
you bring up the no names, but there is a name right now that the fans are unsurprisingly turning on him. Bryson DeChambeau, pleased for PGA Tour and Live Golf merger backfires as fans turn on him, according to the MirrorUS.com. Bryson DeChambeau has once again called for an end to the divide in professional golf, and you'd think everybody would want this. As PGA Tour and Live Golf stars prepare to meet in competition again at the Masters, Bryson was one of the first big golfers to leave the PGA Tour for a lucrative Live Golf circuit. We all know that. Yep. Now, after 2 years with the Saudi-backed tour, he is saying that golf leaders need to make a deal to bring everyone back together again. Last year, the PGA Tour, DP World Tour, and Live Golf made a surprise announcement and was about to reach an agreement to merge the three circuits. However, the original December 31st deadline has come and gone. And despite several rounds of talks, there appears to be no confirmation of any deal. Ahead of Liv's latest event in Miami, DeChambeau was asked for his views on the merger, and some fans were unimpressed by his demands for peace, considering his initial stance. The former U.S. Open champion shared his thought. The only answer is for us to somehow come together in some sort of terms where it makes sense, and for us to be playing all again in somewhat of the same boat. It's great to have the majors where we come together, but we want to be competing. At least I want to be competing every week with all of the best players in the world for sure. And Bill and Greg, I think that's where the fans have an issue with, because you were one of the first to jump ship, knowing that you won't play as much golf for more money, but yet now you're saying you want to be competing every week. And I could see where the fans are turning on him for that.
That's on you, Mr. Greg. You first.
Well, I'm actually down in Live, taking pictures and experiencing this again. It's still golf. They say it's a entertainment form of golf. I can't
golf out louder. Yep.
I can't see the fact that golfers would, if you went out and said, I'm just going to play a round of golf and I'm going to entertain the rest of the people, they would go, no way. But these guys are fighting tooth and nail, just like they did on the PGA Tour, only getting paid for their time and paid very well for their time. I just posted a story this morning from an interview of Peter Uihlein at Live yesterday. And he basically, in the 2 years he's been on the tour, banked $23 million. Now you have to ask yourself, and he hasn't won an event. He's been on team events that made big money. He's been in top 5, top 6s, where the money is. And consistently, he's banked $23 million in 2 years. Could he have done that on the tour? No, I doubt it.
Not unless without winning.
Right.
Yeah.
And Bill and I and Amanda was talking about this in the first part of the show, and I'm you're there. So let's turn to you because you're the man on right there at an event right now. Bill seems to think that guys don't practice as much unless compared to the PGA Tour where they put in 8 hours or so on a practice range. What are you seeing on the practice range? Are you seeing these premier players put in, and you've been to both events, you've been to PGA Tour League, you've been to the Live League. Are they putting in the same time, do you think, on the practice range if they were on the PGA Tour versus Live?
So if I was going to go out and play a competitive round of golf, I would start about the week before and just work into it because I've been playing, okay along the way, but now I'm going to get ready. And they've always talked about the fact that he's getting ready for the Masters and he plays 2 or 3 weeks solid, nothing but golf, walk, golf, walk, golf, walk. These guys only have to practice a week. I mean, at that level, how often does John Rahm have to hit the ball? I mean, if your game is set and you're like Iron Byron, how much does it take a practice?
Well, I think there's probably fans that think like Bill, and Bill seems to think that there's some laxation or something. We lost Greg. We'll give him right back here, but there's and probably some fans feel like that. There's some laxation.
It does look more lax. It really does. I mean, when you watch
the event itself, it looks a little more lax. But I think behind the scenes, Greg was talking about how they have to start practicing probably 1 week before the event or something like that, and really, walk, play, because I mean, live golf doesn't play as much as the PGA Tour, right? So obviously, maybe there's some off time that they get to spend time with the family, not like the PGA Tour where you go and you stop. The event stops on Sunday, and Monday they're in the next city practicing, getting ready for Wednesday and Thursday.
Yeah.
Greg, we're talking about how Bill was under the assumption that with Live Golf League, that even if you're guaranteed a paycheck, there might be some laxation, if you will, in the way guys practice because it's guaranteed money.
I must have said something wrong and totally cut myself off, or somebody did pull the plug. So apologize about that. But no, when you go to a tournament, they all have the same shot routine. They show up with hour and 45 minutes prior to, they have a little lunch. They go to the range. They hit balls for 45 minutes. They hit 11 shots of this club and 9 shots of that club and right down to the driver. And the last thing they're going to do is putt. They're ready. They're ready to play. The countdown goes off. The music comes up. The cannon goes off to start. It goes quiet except for background music, and they go play golf.
Maybe it'll have the adverse effect, and maybe they are going to work a lot harder for the Masters.
Oh, yeah.
It could have the adverse effect and say, you know what? I'm going to show those boys. I'm going to show them what's going on over here. We could have fun, and then we can come back and whip you.
Now let's flip that because those guys are playing the tournament before the Masters, right? Well, Liv is playing before the Masters because next week is the Masters.
Yep.
Well, I think 2 weeks, 11th, the 13th it starts, or 11th it starts. So, but even though, those guys are going from Sunday to Monday, arriving in Augusta, where Live Golf is only playing,
3 days,
3 days instead of 4 days. So they have,
to be fresher.
Right.
Well,
and they might have more time to practice.
The one thing that we talked about is that the greens are so much different in Augusta. So this week they talk about the greens being so much like Augusta this week at Doral, that where better place to practice than on something that you're going to move up the coastline and go to Augusta, and the greens are going to be the same. So where's the PGA Tour? Are they playing about the same?
No.
No one really knows.
No.
Worst part about that is the PGA Tour is in a different week, different location. You got to learn their greens. You got to do this. So what better venue to practice on than what is so solid towards the Masters?
Exactly right.
Yep.
And
All right. Well, that does it for our golf segments here on BGT 2.0. It's now time for In the Kitchen. It's pickleball talk coming up on our next segment right after this here on the Ignite Golf Network. We'll be right back right after this.